last 24 hours. Powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, Parshas Shmois. It's Chai Taivas Tuvshin Paivuv on Edge, and it's January 7th, Lemispuram 2026. My name is Gershy Schwarcz, and I'm your host on Edge. Between Texas and Donald Trump still trying to put a sold sign on Greenland, with koyach, if not with moyach. We'll hear more about it soon. But first, let's thank our sponsor of today. Sponsors, one of them is Reb David Wanunu. You call him on 845-414-8100. If you call him and mention on Edge, besides offering your business a plan that will make you successful, you will get a free consultation session with him for free if you mention the words on Edge. 845-414-8100. The United Kingdom and France have agreed to send troops to Ukraine. Two countries signed a deal yesterday saying they will send troops to Ukraine as peacekeepers if a ceasefire with Russia happens. Now that's interesting because if it happens, right? They call this a reassurance force. I guess it was called the peacekeeping force, and now this is called the reassurance forces. I don't know how many forces they already have names on there. Anyway, the goal is to stop Russia from attacking again once the fighting stops, of course. Officials say, I guess because Russia says no peacekeeping, people, so they changed the names to reassurance force. Okay, so that sounds a little different, and now Russia will agree. Officials say these troops would not fight on the front lines, but they would stay in the back to help train and secure the country. Okay. Russia has already warned if a global catastrophe, like they call it, catastrophe, of a global catastrophe, they said. And they said that any Western soldiers on the Ukrainian soil would be considered targets. The Middle East. A terrible tragedy happened in Yerushalayim yesterday. It was very sad for me to see. As soon as I stepped out of the newsroom, obviously, to go on with my day, and I had to prepare the news segment for today's segment, I saw the piece of news and it shook me up for the rest of the day. A 14-year-old bacher was killed, Rachmana litzlan, and several others were terribly injured. Thousands of people were protesting yesterday at the Atzeres Mechua, yesterday in Yerushalayim, at a busy intersection on Yirmiyahu Street and Shamgar. I used to live there, by the way. The protest was arranged by the Aida Charaidis against the military draft. Yes, a bus driver got mad and rammed into the protesters, killing one and injured others. The driver of the bus has been detained by police. Netanyahu said in a statement yesterday, I extend my full condolences to the Eisenthal family. At the same time, I call to prevent escalation of tension so that, God forbid, we do not experience further tragedies. The value of the sanctity of life is engraved in our heritage, and we must guard it with all our might. The search for the body of Sergeant Major Rangvili Hashem Yinkum Dumoy continued today in the Zaytown neighborhood in Gaza City. They're still looking for his body. Israel and Syria are officially teaming up to share intelligence. Listen to this. Ahmed al-Shara obviously made a deal by the help of Donald J. Trump. On Tuesday, they signed a deal in Paris to create a joint communications center. The United States will supervise the new hub. Its goal is to let Israeli and Syrian commanders talk instantly to stop military accidents. They will also use the channel to look for business opportunities together. President Donald J. Trump pushed hard for this agreement to calm the border. However, it is not all smooth sailing. Syrian officials say they will not discuss bigger peace deals until Israel gives a clear timeline to pull its troops out of Syrian territory. The situation in Iran is getting much worse. We're up to day number 8, I would say today. 11. Oh, I think the days, I forgot to count the Shabbos, and it's terrible. It's not a joke. In the city of Ilam, security forces actually attacked a hospital. Witnesses say police fired tear gas right into the building at people who were already hurt and getting help. Reports from Iran say the regime has cut off the internet entirely in many parts of the country. This includes the capital city of Tehran and other busy areas. They are doing so to stop people from seeing or sending videos of the protests, and obviously stop them from taking it to the outside world. An Iranian protester spray-painted the message to Trump in English. Trump, symbol of truth. Don't let them kill us. The RGC is trying to fight back, and more than 36 people have been killed. Looks like Elon Musk needs to step in again and refire his satellite, his Starlink satellite, because they cut off the internet there. The White House is looking at serious options to take control of Greenland. Officials say this could mean buying the island, making a special deal, or even using the US military. Now, for those of you who have learned a little bit of history, know that most of the US today has been bought, right? Purchased. So Trump wants to make a deal. President Trump calls this a major security priority to stop Russia and China in the Arctic. Now, he wants the issue fixed, before his term ends, obviously. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told lawmakers the main goal is to buy Greenland, not to invade it. But European leaders are trying to stop this. Leaders from France, Germany, and the UK signed a joint letter saying the island belongs to its people. The Prime Minister of Denmark, Mette Frederiksen, said that any US attack on Greenland would mean the end of NATO alliance. John Bolton, Trump's former security advisor, said, "I don't think they care if NATO breaks up." For many in the Trump administration, taking Greenland and breaking up NATO would be what we call 2 for 1. Let's talk about 2 for 1. If you open up a company, or let's say you have a business, but you're struggling because somehow things fall through the cracks because you have either spreadsheets or QuickBooks or stuff that you basically can't cope with, okay? So here is the thing, here's the deal. You call Protobyte right now and you tell them that I mentioned it, mention On Edge, and make a deal with them. They will give you a great system. They build complex systems and very fast. Not only do they, sometimes you call a company and you ask them, okay, so I need to make an application for my business. I need to make a CRM, whatever it is, a website. I need help. So they ask you, what do you need? And now you don't know what to say, right? You're stuck. And I know that. Protobyte doesn't do that. And I heard it from a customer yesterday that was successfully because he heard me on Edge. So he went and called Protobyte and built a beautiful system, he said. He is so impressed with their service. He said, not only I had no clue what I wanted, I do know what I want, but I had no clue what I wanted, which is an obvious and very common problem that we all suffer from. But here is the deal. He called Protobyte on 347-354-1237, and they presented a plan for him and asked him, what do you want and what don't you want, based on his business, on exactly what he needs. This guy does kitchens, so they helped him build a website. Anyway, so I just want to repeat it to you. Getting testimonials and feedback for my On Edge listeners is an amazing thing, so please send me feedback if you have any. Protobyte. Okay, President Trump posted a huge all-caps announcement on Truth Social regarding the oil in Venezuela yesterday. Now, he said, the new interim government of Venezuela has agreed to hand over up to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States. Trump says this is high-quality oil that will be shipped directly to the American docks. He stated clearly that the United States will sell this oil at market prices, and he personally will control the money to ensure it helps both Americans and Venezuelan people. He has already ordered Energy Secretary Chris Wright, with a W, to send ships back to pick it up immediately. The United States military has seized the Venezuelan oil tanker that they've been trying to capture for 2 weeks now. We spoke about it yesterday. They played cat and mouse with it. The tanker was originally called the Bella 1, but the crew tried to hide it by renaming it the Marina, or the Marinera, and painting a Russian flag on the side. American forces say this ship is part of a shadow fleet used to sneak oil around American sanctions. Russia tried to stop the seizure by sending a submarine and other naval ships to escort the tanker. But today, the American military confirmed they boarded the vessel and took control. Officials say the ship violated sanctions and now it is in American hands. The U.S. Coast Guard also intercepted an additional oil tanker in the Caribbean identified as the M. Sophia. President Trump gave a speech to the House Republicans yesterday and warned them, win the midterms or I get impeached again. He spoke at a Republican retreat at the Kennedy Center to discuss the year ahead. He told lawmakers they must keep their majority in the House. By hook or by crook, this comes after the Republican majority in the House just got smaller. Why? Because California Congressman Doug LaMalfa, his name is, died suddenly yesterday at age 65. President Trump announced the death and said it is a major loss. Or maybe someone is behind it. Who knows? Ask Candace Owens, she'll tell you. Maybe she knows who killed him. Anyway, this makes it even harder for Speaker Mike Johnson to pass laws with this tiny margin. Anyway, I'm doing exactly what they're doing. It's not good, like asking a question and then leaving you to tag with it. No, nobody killed him. He died of natural causes. To make matters worse, Congressman Jim Baird of Indiana is in the hospital. He's also a Republican, and he was injured in a car accident, even though he is expected to make a full recovery. Republicans are very nervous. And what were the Democrats doing while Trump was giving his speech? Well, we all know what yesterday was. I didn't make a big deal about it because I actually forgot, to be honest with you. I didn't celebrate the day or didn't make a memorial. Congressional Democrats held a candlelight vigil to mark the 5th anniversary of the January 6th Capitol riot. It was a terrible day for America. All the Democrats joined in and sang patriotic songs at the end of the vigil. It was so emotional that it got everyone to tears. Federal officials, I'm not putting, it was a terrible day for America. Obviously it was. But we know where they're going with this. So, yeah. Federal officials have released videos of the man who opened fire at Brown University and MIT last month. The shooter, 48-year-old Claudio Neves Valente, we spoke about him already, recorded himself after the attacks. In the videos, he says he will not apologize because he feels no one ever apologized to him. He also used the videos to attack President Trump, calling him an animal. Valente was found dead 5 days after the shooting inside a storage unit in New Hampshire, like we said. Police say he took his own life. Investigators are still using these tapes to try and understand why he attacked the two schools and killed the professor. Hilton has officially pulled its name from the Lakeville Hotel after they cancelled reservations belonging to an ICE agent. Nick Sortor visited the hotel with a hidden camera, and he recorded staff admitting that despite the public apology, they were still under orders to ban immigrant agents. Hilton says this video proved the hotel was not following company values. Now, the hotel can no longer use the Hilton name or booking system. Unbelievable. Let's talk about what is unbelievable. When you walk into Shawarma Delight and you have yourself a shawarma, you say, wow, this is unbelievable. This is so tasty. Mention on Edge and get a free drink. They're located on 26 Spring Valley Marketplace, which is Spring Valley, New York, America, United States. If you live in Antwerp, if you stop by Monsey, make sure to get yourself a shawarma from Shawarma Delight. Great and delicious. SDNY.store, free delivery within Monsey. Let's talk about your investments. YS Capital Group. The answer is always yes. Wait, I'm not going anywhere. Still have more news to report, by the way, just saying. YS Capital Group is there for you when you need to borrow some money for an investment. For an investment in a building, okay? The answer is always yes. This is his slogan. The answer is yes. 718-831-2168. Again, the number is 718-831-2168. If you mention on Edge, you get yourself a secure deal with the rates. Now, Arrive Express is always at your service for taxi services within this region. 845-622-1111 or 845-254-1111. Okay. A deadly helicopter crash has shaken the region in central Russia. A private helicopter slammed into a building at the Ashatli Park in Perm-Krai. Okay, that's in Russia. That's why I pronounced it so weirdly. Witnesses say the aircraft hit a set of zip lines before losing control and plummeting to the ground. 2 people were killed in the crash. One of them has been identified as Ilyas Gimatudinov, a founder of a local transport company. Investigators are now at the scene trying to figure out if this was a mechanical failure or pilot error. Okay, let's talk about finance and economy. Are you ready for this? Bank of America says now is the time to buy stocks in Israel's biggest banks. Experts at the bank believe the Israeli economy will grow quickly as the country recovers from the war. Millions of people who use Amazon Prime are getting money back from the company. The government reached a $2.5 billion deal with Amazon to settle a legal case. Many customers already saw their refunds arrive in their accounts over the holiday season. If you use Amazon Prime and you did not get money back yet, you might still be able to get a refund. The case was about how Amazon charged people for memberships and made it hard to cancel them. You should check your records to see if you can still get your part of this money back. Now, yesterday, we had the privilege of emceeing an event that was there. Well, I was hired to emcee an event at the David Breyer Fire Commissioner from Tolman. And he received a letter from President Trump himself, signing his victory, congratulating his victory, the Fire Commissioner of Tolman. And this letter was obviously presented to him by the one and only Reb Moshe Magareton. Reb Moshe Magareton of the Tzedek Association. Speaking of the Tzedek Association, obviously, he is a great person. I had a conversation with him. I never got to meet him personally, but I did meet him yesterday. He is a person that literally is Klal Yisrael's ambassador, I would say. What he does and what he doesn't do, people don't even know the sidelines. But first of all, with getting the prescription drugs, getting this executive bill signed by the Trump RX to create the Trump RX, that means it makes the fertility drugs, very, very, very low prices, obviously. That alone is a major achievement that he did, and he's working now that insurance companies should cover it. We all know how much money it costs. There's so many great organizations that help, obviously, families build families, and with fertility problems that most of us know that exists in our communities, there's issues with, especially surrounding the costs that it costs to help these families take care of themselves. And now, if insurance companies will cover this IVF, this would be an amazing achievement, and this is thanks to Rav Moshe Magaretin from the Tzedek Association. Now, all of my online listeners here today, we will announce Mitzvah Shem, the campaign, which is happening next week. Next week, Mitzvah Shem Yisborach, there's a massive, major campaign event happening with Tzedek Association, and they're raising funds, they're raising money. So for my online listeners who enter and donate to the link that I will provide Mitzvah Shem tomorrow, I'll already provide the link to you, but I'm just letting you know, you will enter into a raffle to win amazing prizes ranging $500, $600 or more dollars each. And yes, lots of different prizes that you guys will win if you enter the raffles. And I will let you know how much it will cost. I'll give you the prices. But for today, I'm just letting you know that you should get ready, prepare yourself, because this is a major event. Tzedek Association doesn't just do this, they also promote, obviously, they also work, they advocate, their advocacy is to help people who are struggling with any legal issues. The whole prison reform was thanks to Moshe Magaretin. People were arrested for minor crimes for 20 to 30 year sentences, which was crazy. I mean, a good example to see Rubashkin, right? This is what's happening in the only country in the entire world that does this, by the way. No other country does this. They arrest a person for a crime like this, 2 or 3 years, maybe less. But this is like, we're talking 10, 20 year sentences. So Rav Moshe Magaretin worked so hard with Trump to sign this order, to sign this bill into action. That means cutting sentences, bringing families together again. And we're talking about Haimisha families that are suffering, till this very day still from these terrible laws that were in place that Rav Moshe Magaretin was fighting and still fighting to cancel and to reduce and to help families, help Yiddish mashpuchas, kids live and stay with their parents. Okay, with that, my friends, I will finish this segment of today, and thank you so much for listening. We'll see you Be'ez Hashem Zerach tomorrow.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.